Before the break, we explained how China is at war with us. And the Chinese are getting upset with anyone who recognizes this reality. Apparently, we're supposed to roll over and let them do what they want in Asia and around the world. And if we don't, it means war. This is becoming increasingly obvious to anyone who cares to look. Consider this quote from Zero Hedge on March 7th. In an unexpectedly sharp escalation of diplomatic rhetoric, China's foreign minister said that the U.S. should change its distorted attitude towards China, or conflict and confrontation will follow, while defending the country's stance on the war in Ukraine and defending its close ties with Russia. Let me translate that for you. He was saying, let us do what we want or we will start a hot war. In that same speech, the foreign minister was extremely clear about intentions for Taiwan. He was also clear about challenging the American dollar. Let me ask this question. If it were 1936 and you knew what was about to happen in World War II, would you want to buy German goods or invest your pension with the Nazis? Sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly what Americans are doing right now with Communist China. Here's a chart from Statista using Bureau of Economic Affairs data that shows American direct investment into China since the year 2000. This doesn't reflect all the hidden investments made. This is just the official listed foreign direct investment, and it totals over $1 trillion, growing by more than $100 billion per year. Some people estimate that we've invested upwards of 2 to 3 trillion total when you count stock purchases plus all the hidden ways that China extracts capital through global index funds. American investment in China actually increased in recent years. Consider this from foreignpolicy.com. They said, in 2019, nearly $400 billion of new investment into Chinese equities was driven by changes in allocations within benchmark indexes, with American investors accounting for more than a third of these massive portfolio flows. Similarly, global bond indexes that have started adding Chinese government bonds to their benchmarks accounted for an additional investment flow of more than $100 billion into China. Put together, these major shifts in funds allocations could automatically grow U.S. portfolio investment in Chinese companies and government securities to more than $1 trillion by the end of 2021. Without the active consent or knowledge of most Americans. Think about that. We're ramping up Chinese investment while they're ramping up for war. Does this seem wise? The worst part is that we've been funding their innovation. As an example, consider this February 2023 report for the Center for Security and Emerging Technology. They said, based on available data in Crunchbase, between 2015 and 2021, 167 U.S. investors participated in 401 investment transactions, or 17% of global investment transactions into Chinese AI companies. Collectively observed transactions involving U.S. investors total $40.2 billion invested into 251 Chinese AI companies, which accounts for 37% of the $110 billion raised by all Chinese AI companies. That's just for artificial intelligence. 37% of the money invested comes from deals involving American investors, and 91% of that is venture capital money, which may not be counted in the totals that we shared earlier. Bottom line, we are funding China to the tune of trillions of dollars total, and much of that is helping China get ahead of us. Isn't it bad enough that we also let them steal our technology? Do we also have to fund their doing that? Representative Mike Gallagher chairs the House Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the U.S. and Chinese Communist Party. Here's what he recently said. He said there's a fundamental contradiction in our China policy today. The U.S. government is placing increasing scrutiny on technology transfer and tightening export controls in concert with our allies to counter malign CCP-directed companies. At the same time, however, our government is providing a de facto green light to the unlimited capitalization of many of these companies and others like them in strategic technology sectors.